Alright, these are the Emporia Vue V2s. I like them a lot. I used a couple other CT sensors just to compare them with. I have a few Z-Wave ones and I have a few inline ones laying around from a previous job. My panel is a little bit of a mess right now because I am working through doing some renovations and I've ended up putting a second heat pump upstairs. So that's why it's a little bit of a mess, but I did want to go over how awesome these things are. They work very well, and there's a third-party integration that somebody had built to tie it into Home Assistant that also works incredibly well. I will go over that here shortly, but I did want to at least show the panel and what they look like up here. But they do work incredibly well. How I did them is I had put labels on what breakers I plan on them going to, and the reason why I did that is because I have some, like for example, breaker 22 is right here. I have the CT sensor all the way up here. So sometimes it'd be hard to trace them out. So that's why I did that. And then up here, I did the same thing, except for I ignore these, but these are the slots that Emporia uses. So it's 1 through 16. And then what I did is I have the actual breaker number right here. So this one's 29A. So I know on the Emporia app that my Emporia 01 circuit 14 is breaker 29A. But these things work incredibly well. They came with 16 circuits and I have way more than that, so that's why I have 2 of them. But that's it for this portion. I will go ahead and sign on to Home Assistant and show you how I did the math, the meters, and everything else. Thank you.
Alright, so let's go to our Home Assistant interface and we'll get started. First thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you where you actually put the custom component whenever you download it from the link that will be in the description in the GitHub that I provide down there. But what you do is you go to the GitHub, and here's the link here, and you pretty much just copy everything that's in that custom components folder on the Emporia Vue Home Assistant integration GitHub, and you paste it into a folder that you create under your own custom components. Visual Studio Code is the easiest, but you can do whatever you want. And what that does is after you restart Home Assistant, it allows you to create what I have here. You'll do that by going to Add Integration, type in Emporia, and you'll be able to type in your email and password. It will give you the 1 minute watts, and then the 1 day kilowatts, and the 1 month kilowatts. And you'll be able to have something that looks kind of like this. Now I like to rename all my entity IDs to where they're all consistent. It makes it easier to use. That's up to you. Once we have that, we're going to go back to Studio Code Server and let's check out how I did some of these sensors and the utility meter. These are just standard template sensors, and I'll put these in the GitHub page as well. And then this is the utility meter integration. You can either do it on the configuration.yaml page by activating utility_meter, or you can do it like I do it, where I link a individual YAML file just for utility meters, because I have so many. And I do daily, monthly, quarterly, and annually. Now you see here, we have that meter that we had just shown you, and then you'll see over here we have a Rutherford per kilowatt hour. That's my utility provider and what they charge roughly per kilowatt hour. And I've made another template sensor that has that. You know, everybody's will be a little bit different. And again, that's how we got our math. So you have the meter, and then you have the per kilowatt hour. Very basic multiplication. And you see here, this is kind of like my energy overview. I have a property that we rent out, and that's what this all is. It shows the total we've consumed, and then in our little rental apartment, it shows how much that person consumed and what percentage of our total power they had used. Let's go back to Studio Code Server. We'll see how I did that. It's the energy math. And I'll copy all this and put it on the GitHub as well. But this is multiplying, dividing, stuff like that, to get totals and to get the percentages and whatnot. Alright, and then this right here is the monthly overview per breaker. Then I also have a daily view, so you can see what's using the power and get it under control. This is that rental property. These are just random devices that have energy monitors on them. But if you guys would like to see how I did the dashboard, just let me know in the comments below. Hope this was useful to somebody, and I hope I made you choose Emporia. Thanks.